What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we have the Lexington City Championship Top 4. In our left, we have Carl Chu, and on the right, we have Michael Delgado. I'm pretty sure that's his last name. And we haven't seen any of these players in Top 8. And let's see who goes first, and let's see what decks they are playing. I do see a DC, looks like a Dark Pokemon. Maybe, I don't know, I can't tell what it is, but this is a standard event, and this is day number 5 of the Tennessee Marathon of 6 days, and it's been an eventful 5 days of the marathon. Last game we saw Kevin Baxter versus Jacob Hope, and we saw Jacob take down the Kyogre deck with his Lugia Bronzong deck, both two rogue decks for sure, and let's see, what are we playing against here? Both players get set up and let's see what happens. And there is a double Zora start already. And it looks like, okay, a water energy. And we see a Sycamore discarding a Shaman and some other stuff. And I see a Primal Kyogre. So it seems like Carl Shu also went with a Primal Kyogre deck already. And let's see, on to Michael's turn. Let's see what he gets. He gets a Floatstone. Oh, to that Zora. It's interesting that they're playing two different Zoras. I know it's hard to tell, but they are. Well, let's see what Michael does. Like I said, he does have a Flowstone on that Zora. He can retreat at any moment. A DC go down to Zora, and we see a pass, and on to Carl's turn. Alrighty, so this is a eventful game so far. A Water Energy to the to Zora, and we see another Sycamore from Carl. Oh man, things are not going great so far for Carl, but let's see. Let's see Trainer's Melt. Let's see what he gets off the 4. He has some kind of supporter card. It looks like a Hex Maniac. He does have a Lysander. He's going to grab the Hex Maniac. I think there was a VS Seeker in there as well. He must already have another supporter card. And let's see. Okay, he has a Zora. And let's see. We see an Ultra Ball, so you can get out a Zoroark and or a Kyogre. And let's see what he decides to get. He Ultra Ball, discard the Hex Maniac. And it looks like a Professor Letter. And there's Kyogre. Alrighty, so he can... Oh, he has both Kyogres in there. One of the promo kinds and one of the original kinds. So let's see what he decides gets out. I'm not sure which one that is. I'm not going to lie to you. But either way, he gets the Kyogre out. A Spirit Link and a pass. Alright, and there we see an Yveltal, a Muscle Band, a Megaphone, getting rid of that Link. And another pass on the Carl's turn. We see a Water Energy going on Kyogre. We see a Giovanni Scheme drawn up to 5. And we see a Zoroark, and we will see a Mind Jack. It will do 40 damage. Yeah, yep, 40 damage. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And here comes Michael's own Zoroark already. And he does have a DC. And we'll see a Mind Jack as well for 40. I think that's what it does. Oh, 10. What? Maybe I did the math wrong. Okay, but we see a Mind Jack knocking out the Zoroark. And on to Michael's turn. Oh, is that a 4? Is that a 4? I think it's the number 4. It looks like a 1. But there we see a Shaman. Okay, so we see Michael finally get into the game. He has a Dark Energy as well. And I apologize for the glare, but I will try my best to see what they are. I don't know why it's so glary all of a sudden. So we saw a Trainer's Mail. Not sure what he got off the Trainer's Mail. We might just see a Blue Wing for 50. I'm bringing this Zoroark up to 90. There we see a Crush Neighbor, so Michael is playing Crush Neighbors in his deck, and there's a Heads. And let's see, what energy does he discard? Does he discard a Water Energy off the active, or off that Primal, off the Kyogre on the bench? Oh, it's an interesting decision. Let's see what he decides to go for. So let's see, he's gonna discard the DC off the Kyogre, and we will see a Blue Wing for 50. And I guess he doesn't have any Dark Energies in his discard pile. And there we see a Aqua Ball, or Dive Ball, sorry, getting out of Primal Kyogre. We see an Energy Retrieval getting 1 energy. We see a Water Energy going out to the Kyogre. And we might see a Primal Evolve to end Carl's turn. Or will we see a Mind Jack doing 40 damage? Let's see what Carl decides to go for. He could retreat. Oh, he's going to Lysander up Shaman. And he could retreat and Primal Evolve, but he looks like he's going to go for a Mind Jack for 40, and on to Michael's turn. He has a Lysander of his own. He has a VS Seeker. He hasn't played a supporter yet that I know of. I don't think he has. He has a Lysander's hand, but I don't know what it does. And we see a pass, and on a Carl's turn, we see a Water Energy go down to Kyogre, and we might see him Primal Evolve right now, just to end his turn. He does have a Hex Maniac, and if he has 2 VS Seekers, then I could definitely see him the need to use Hex Maniac. There we see Verse Seeker for Hex Maniac. And another, okay, just another Mind Jack for 40. And on to Michael's turn. I guess Carl's waiting to get a link before he ends his turn, but I never see an Ultra Ball. I think that's what it is, because he is trying to decide what cards to discard. Yeah, he's going to discard an Yveltal and a Lysander. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And let's see what Michael decides to get out. Oh, man. He gets out a Glare. Oh, perfect. I'm not really sure, like I said. Okay, Shaman EX, but he can't use it because he has been hexed. And they receive VS Seeker for Lysander. Bringing up that Kyogre. And we'll see a pass on the Carl's turn, but he can just stand in. Carl might just Primal Evolve. We see a DC go down to the Kyogre. We see a stand in, and yeah, we'll see him. VS Seeker for Hexmaniac, and alright, we'll see a Mind Jack, and on to Michael's turn. We see a Sycamore. Alright, so he did discard a Sycamore, or he did get a Sycamore, and he did get another Pokemon. If he didn't draw another Pokemon to discard that Shaman, I would have been sad for him. But we'll see the Oblivion doing 50 damage, and this will knock out the Zoroark. But let's see, does Michael have anything else or not? He does have another Yveltal in his hand. He's going to Ultra Ball, discard an Yveltal and a Dark Energy. And this might get out an Yveltal EX, but I mean, it's kind of... I mean, Carl doesn't have an attacker after the Zoroark. He has the Kyogre on the bench, but Carl doesn't want to attack with the Kyogre. He definitely wants to attack with the Primal. We see a Trainer's Mail from Michael. Let's see what he decides to get. A Crushing Hammer. He could discard an energy off that Kyogre, making it where Carl cannot Primal Evolve and attack next turn if he gets a link. Let's see, Crushing Hammer, and no, Tells. Alright. And on to Carl's turn, oh, we're going to see him Oblivion knock it out. And on to Carl's turn, there's a Kyogre coming down. And we might just see a Primal Evolve in his turn. Let's see, yep, Primal Evolve, and on to Michael's turn. Alright. So next turn we might see a Kyogre attack. There we see an energy go out to the Yveltal. I'm not sure if that's a DC or a Dark. And we see a Sycamore. Michael's going to get 7 new cards. We see another Trainer's Mail. That has to be Michael's, like, 4th Trainer's Mail. It's either his 3rd or 4th, and there we see an Ultra Ball, discarding a Dark and a Hex Maniac, and let's see what he decides to get out. Maybe a Zoroark, and maybe not, okay? Maybe the other Zoroark is prized. He has gotten one knocked out, so maybe the other one is prized. And we'll see a Blooming doing 50, putting another Dark Energy on this Yveltal. And on to Carl's turn. Carl's trying to figure out this Primal Kyogre can get knocked out by this Yveltal. It is very scary. Now, Carl does have a Floatstone. He could put that on the active Kyogre and then use the Tidal Storm. So he's going to get the Floatstone. And he can put the Floatstone on the active and then retreat. And the Tidal Storm, just moving the DCE. Yeah, that might be a smart play. We see Kyogre and we'll see a Tidal Storm. It'll do 150 and 30 to that Yveltal on the bench. Yeah, he's just going to move just the DCE. Because it is up to 2, or he has to move at least 2 energies, and a DC is 2 energies. And here we see Yveltal, and let's see, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we see VS Seeker bringing that Kyogre on the bench. We see a Dark Energy, and let's see what he decides to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 160. That's not a knockout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 160, but all Carl needs is an energy and a way to retreat this Kyogre. I'm not sure if it's a 2 or 3 energy retreat cost. They will see a Mega Turbo, getting a water energy out of the discard pile. We see a Floatstone, and we'll see a Tidal Storm, knocking out that the Yveltal, and on to game number 2. So that was an uneventful game 1 for both players. Like, both players really didn't have anything. Like, they're kind of just, I don't know, like, they literally just had double Zoroark and just hitting each other for 40 because they didn't get anything else. Hopefully game number 2 is a little bit more exciting. But Yveltal has a really bad matchup against Primal Kyogre, because once Primal Kyogre uses the Tidal Storm attack, it makes it where it only has 2 energies on the active, and that means Yveltal does less damage. And what Carl can do the following turn is Lysander, bring up another Pokemon, and it can, you know, do 150 to that Pokemon while sniping all the EX Pokemon for 30. If you don't know, Primal Kyogre does 150 and 30 damage to all EX Pokemon, and that way you can Lysander around, take multiple prizes. And let's see what happens in game number 2. Carl gets inactive, Michael gets inactive, and let's see, hopefully we have a more eventful game number 2, and we see a Kyogre and an Yveltal. And on to Michael's turn, he's going to draw. We see a Mustang going out to the active, see a Compressor, going to get discard 3 cards out of his deck. There's a Dark, and maybe some supporter cards, and that way he can VS Seeker for those supporter cards if he wants to. And okay, he's gonna play another Battle Compressor. He just opted to get 1. It is up to 3, and they will see another Battle Compressor come down. And this might discard the Hex Maniac and Lysander. I would definitely always discard your Techie supporter card, so that way you can just VS Seeker for them. But let's see what Michael decides to do. Alright, let's see. He's just looking through his deck to see what's all in there. And he's going to discard a Battle Compressor with the Battle Compressor. And yeah, so he's going to discard a Dark and a Battle Compressor off of 2 Battle Compressors. And let's see what Michael decides to do. Shebe, drawn up to 6. Alrighty, he has an Yveltal. Flowstone. Okay, Flowstone going to Shebe. We see a Judge. Going to put both players at 4 cards. Alrighty. Now, this is where I think Michael should have used the Battle Compressor puts supporters in the discard pile, because if he does draw into a VS Seeker, he has the option to VS Seeker for a Sycamore, or like for a supporter card and the Judge. But right now, if he gets a VS Seeker, his only supporter card he can get out is that Judge, which is not going to help him that much. Now, this did disrupt Carl. I'm not sure what was in Carl's hand. I didn't really see it, but he only have 4 instead of the 6 he had in his hand. And let's see what happens. What do each player get? Alrighty, and let's see, does Michael get an energy or not? He does have a VS Seeker. Here we see a Trainer's Mail. He can put that Sycamore in his hand. That's probably his best bet. He's going to grab the Sycamore, put it into his hand. And let's see, Carl has a Water Energy. I saw a Primal Kyogre. Not really sure what else I saw. And no energy for Michael turn 1, which is never good. And like I said, he does have a Water Energy. He does have a Primal Kyogre. And we see an Ultra Ball discarding a DCE and a Zoroark. This will grab a Shebe for sure, and there's good old Shaman EX already. Shaman EX going to come down for Carl, and he's probably going to attach his Water Energy to the active and then play down the Shaman. Just, you can draw more cards with Shaman. Come on down, Water Energy. There's a Water Energy Shaman drawing 5 cards. He has a Zora. He has another Kyogre. Carl's turn is getting really good right now. We see a Kyogre come down. We see a Zora. And we might just see a pass. He does have a Trainer's Mail, but I'm not sure if he wants to play it or not. And he's going to Judge, put both players at 4 cards once again. I think Carl does play 2 Shaman, so he can maybe draw to another one. But Carl's in the same scenario, where if he draws a VS Seeker, the only supporter card in the discard pile is a Judge. And, with this deck, you do want to draw into your Sycamores and stuff like that to hurry up and get your Kyogres out, because they do need a lot to set up. But let's see what Carl decides to do. And we might just see pass. Yeah, pass onto Michael's turn. We see a Trainer's Mail. Let's see what's in the top 4 cards of the deck. There's a Dark Energy, an Ultra Ball, I think a Lysander. I'm not sure what that card was. An Ultra Ball. Okay, so he grabbed the Lysander, discarding some kind of dark Pokemon. Looks like an Yveltal and a Lysander. This might get out a second Shaman. If he does play second Shaman, right now it is a Glare card. Not sure what that is. Once again, I apologize for the glare, but it looks like it was a full art Shebe. There's a Zora. Shebe drawn up to 6 already. And does Michael have a Dark Energy or not? He hasn't played one yet. And there's a Dark Energy. And there we see a Crush Hammer. Yeah. Oh. And Tails. Alright, so no discarding the energy. Another Crush Hammer. Oh, another Tails. A Trainer's Mail. So he is 1 for 3 on Crushing Hammers this game. Maybe 1 for 4. Not this game, but overall in this series. And I'm not... Okay, he's going to grab a Lysander with the Trainer's Mail. I think that's what that is. Yep, it's another Lysander. It's cool when they put their hands above it because it gets rid of the glare. There's the Lysander bringing up Zora. And we will see a Oblivion doing 50 damage onto Kyle's turn. Not Kyle's turn. Carl's turn. Sorry about that, Carl. I don't know why I said Kyle. I guess because Kyle's next to you. But we see Oblivion putting a Dark Energy on the Zora. And let's see what Carl decides to do. Does he have a supporter card or not? It's the real question. Let's see. What does Carl do here? Water Energy going to Kyogre. And we'll see a pass. Alright, so nothing from Carl, really. And on to Michael's turn, let's see what happens. We will see Oblivion knocking out the Zora. It will put Michael down to 5 prize cards. And yep, Oblivion knocking out the Zora. There's no Dark Energies in the discard pile. He only discarded the 1 with the Battle Compressor. And on to Carl's turn. He's going to send up Shebe. And let's see. He does have a DCE. So he can Sky Return, pick up the Shaman, put it into his hand, and send up the Kyogre with the no energies. And we see 30 damage going down to the Yveltal. And on to Michael's turn. We see another Trainer's Mail. And let's see what he grabs. He could have grabbed that Crush Hammer, trying to discard a Water Energy off that Kyogre if he wants to. And let's see if he goes for that play or not. Yep, he's going to grab the Crush Hammer. Can he flip hands this time around? He is 0 for 2 right now in game number 2. And, I mean, imagine, yep, here comes Crush Hammer, and no, heads. Going to get discard that Water Energy. There you go. and a VS Seeker. He's going to grab a Judge. And that way, he's going to get rid of Carl's, I don't know why I keep saying Kyle, Carl's Shaman EX. Maybe Carl can't draw into it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if this plan works out or not for Michael. Michael's going to get 4 cards from that Judge. And we haven't seen either player play a Sycamore, if I remember correctly. We see Carl have a Water Energy, a Lysander, and we see a Blooming for 50. And on the Carl's turn, he's going to Ultra Ball, discard the Lysander and Dive Ball, and he's going to get a Zora, and this means he already has Shaman in his hand. There's no way you grab a Zora unless that other card is a Shebe. We see a Water Energy going to Kyogre, and we see Shebe drawn up to 6. Alrighty, so he's got a Floatstone, he's got a Rough Seas. Alrighty, so Carl is in business now. He's picking up, it's taking about 30 turns. There we see a Rough Seas, we can start seeing him heal the active. We see a Trainer's Mail. And let's see what Carl decides to get. He does have a VS Seeker, but once again, the only supporter card in his discard pile is that Lysander. And there is a Spirit Link. Now, as soon as Carl puts down the Spirit Link, he needs to Primal Evolve, because we know Michael does play Megaphone in his deck. I'm not sure how many, but he definitely needs to make sure he Primal Evolves straight away when this happens. We see a Link going out of Kyogre, and we'll see a pass. Alright, so Carl's just going to pass on Michael's turn. Let's see what happens. We see an Ultra Ball, discarding a Zora and a Sycamore. Oh, there was the first Sycamore of the game, but it's being discarded. And we see a Zora coming down. It could start using Mind Jack. It doesn't do that much damage. Do 3, 6, 9, 100 this turn. See a Muscle Band, and we see a VS Seeker for a Sycamore. Going to discard his hand, drawing 7 new cards. But he didn't have a hand, so he just draw 7 cards. We see a Shadow Circle, so he does play a supporter card. I mean, not a supporter card, a stadium card. And we will see a Mind Jack. It will do 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 120. And it'll put this Kyogre EX at 140 if Carl did use Rough Seas last turn. I'm not sure if he did. There's 12. I imagine that might be it. But dang, Carl gets a Primal Kyogre. He gets a Zoroark. We see a Sycamore discarding his hand, draws 7 new cards, and Carl can start using this whole shebang. There we see a Rough Seas, heal that 20 or heal 30 damage, bring it down to 110. It looks like Carl did remember to use the Rough Seas last turn, and he does have double Water Energy, so that way he can use the Alpha Grow effect. Alrighty, and we'll see the first Tidal Storm of this game. There we go. We will see Retreat. We'll see a stand-in. Retreat to the Primal Kyogre, and he will use this Tidal Storm. But the question is, where does Carl put these 2 energies? Does it go onto the Zoroark, or does it go onto the Kyogre EX? Here we see Zoroark, and we see Kyogre EX, and here we see a good old Tidal Storm, and where those 2 energies go, and they're going to go on the Zoroark. Alright, so it knocks out the Zoroark, and it puts 30 damage on both of these Shamans. Oh, those Shamans should have 30 damage on them. There we see Megaphone getting rid of all the tools. And let's see, do they catch that those Shamans need those 30 damage or not? I'm not sure. We see a Flowstone going down to the Shaman. We see a Super Rod getting back some Pokemon. I'm not sure if he got any Dark Energy. I just hope that they catch that those Shamans need 30 damage, because that is very important in this matchup. Alright, and there's it looks like I'm not sure what just happened. It looks like a Sycamore was just played. Alright, so Sycamore discard his hand, draw 7 new cards. We see a Zora come down. Oh no, Yveltal come down. A Dark Energy. And we will see a Blooming for 50 damage. And it basically only does 20 damage because Carl can just Rough Seas that 30 off. Rough Seas still 30 damage from all of your Water and Lightning Pokemon, which is great. We see a Link go down. We see a Mega Turbo going to the active. And does Carl have another energy? We see a Trainer's Mail. And he has a Geovite Scheme and a Hex Maniac. He might just grab the Geovite Scheme. Yep, gonna grab the Geovite Scheme. And let's see, what does Carl do now? Does he have an energy attachment for the turn? Let's see. He could stand in. Oh, here we see a Geovite Scheme. Does he get the energy or not? It doesn't seem like it. We'll see a Rough Seas healing that damage. And we'll see it stand in. And we will see a Mind Jack. I'll do 3, 6, 9, 10, 100 damage. Knocking out this Yveltal. Yep, knocking out the Yveltal. And on to Michael's turn. He's going to send up that Yveltal with the Dark Energy. I think I might have 2 Dark Energies. And there we see a DCE and a Sycamore discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. And this means that this Yveltal can knock out the Zoroark. But, I mean, once that happens, Kyle's going to be in a weird situation. He doesn't really have another attacker. There we see a Megaphone getting rid of the Spirit Link. We see a Crushing Hammer, Tails, and we'll see a Darkness Blade. Tails, so he can't attack again next turn. Alrighty, so here we see Primal Kyogre come up, and does Carl have an energy? There we see a Mega Turbo going on to the active, and we'll definitely see, okay, we see another Rough Seas going on, and we'll see, we see a Light Center for the Shaman, and we'll see a Tidal Storm doing 150 damage, and once again, that Shaman shouldn't be up to 60 damage, but I guess we're just going to pretend like it doesn't do 30 to the bench. Here we see a VS Seeker bringing up Shebe, we see an Yveltal come down, a Dark Energy, and we might see an Oblivion Wing. Yeah, I don't think you want to go for a Darkness Blade here. Carl doesn't really have a way to retreat this Shaman. And we will see a Dark Energy going to this Yveltal, but I don't know this Yveltal can really even do anything. It looks like, yep, we're just going to see a knockout. Oh, he's actually going to go for a Darkness Blade instead. It shouldn't knock it out. Yeah, it should only do 100. I think. Yeah, it should only do 100. I don't think it has a Muscle Band. And on to Carl's turn. Let's see what happens. He does have a Water Energy. But does he have a Float Stone? We see double Water Energy in his Discard Pile. And we see a Rough Seas. And that Kyogre is almost fully healed now, thanks to that Rough Seas. And let's see what Carl does. Oh, he has a Float Stone. He has a Water Energy. We see an Articuno coming down. So we see that Carl does decide to play Articuno in his deck. And, alrighty. And let's see. He's gonna... Okay, he's gonna attach for the turn to the Primal Kyogre. He must not have another energy. Carl's trying to see how many cards left in his opponent's deck. There we see a Floatstone, and we see a Sycamore. And oh, Carl has double Water Energy. If he just would have Sycamore, he could attack this turn. Oh man. But let's see what Carl decides to do here. Oh, he has a Mega Turbo. There we go. So another Mega Turbo coming down. He can Tidal Storm, knocking out the Yveltal. Once again, these EX Pokemon. That Shaman should be up to 90 damage now on the bench. Unless I'm crazy. But there we see Tidal Storm doing 150. And, let's see, here comes Zoroark, and, alright, so the Zoroark, okay, there we go, that Shaman finally has 30 damage, it should be 90, don't tell him, though, and, okay, we see Michael scoop the game. Oh, Carl could have took 4 prize cards that turn, but there we go, Carl Shu wins, advances to the finals. I guess you don't even need, to do the bench damage on Shamans, which is why Kyogre is so good. But I guess sometimes you just forget about it, and, you know, even though you forget about it, you win the game. But there we go, Carl beats Michael in top 4, and Carl will advance to the finals. And will Carl play against Jacob Hope, or does somebody take down Jacob or not? We'll find out soon in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Alrighty, bye.